Good evening. The Manchester GP, Harold Shipman, is tonight starting 15 life sentences for murder, making him Britain's worst serial killer of modern times. The jury at Preston found him guilty on all 15 charges of killing living patients and on one charge of forging a will. The sentencing head, Justice Ward, said Shipman had murdered each and every one of his victims by calculated, cold-blooded perversion of his medical skills.
Yeah.
Wanted us to do a welcome back segment, Scott.
Sorry. go
Still
on.
waking up, are you?
Yeah. It's a long night. Watching Narcos.
How many episodes did you watch?
During the night, 6,
During the day?
4.
Fucking hell, 10 episodes.
I
Are
did
we-
that. I basically did the series.
Yeah, what have you got, like the last two to watch, or
No, I watched that this morning. I woke up at about 6:30, and then watched the last.
what, in the
half.
morning?
Yeah.
Watched them and then went back to bed?
I could only get through the first 30 minutes of the last episode before that. It's like I just have to go to sleep.
I'm not even awake yet.
Yeah, I have to go to sleep. So I did, and then I woke up like 4 hours later, came in here, had half a J left. It was like, let me just finish that. And Narcos, and then went back to bed. It's a hard life at the moment.
So, welcome back to the Liam Scott Ryan show. Obviously, you can tell that. Well, you can obviously tell Scott's unemployed at the moment. But so am I. I was gonna. That was one thing I wanted to bring up. I was reading in a podcast section about the things that irritate people the most in podcasts.
Oh yeah,
And guess what was in it?
burping.
You just did it. Bodily functions was in it. Farting, burping, sniffling, blowing noses.
Food chewing.
Food chewing is way up there.
Yeah.
People fucking hate it if someone's eating while they're doing a podcast.
I've never been one for caring what other people think.
I know. I mentioned this to the missus and I was like, I said, well, in the context of our show, I believe it works.
Yeah. It's just the way they do it. They do it with a bit of class.
Who do? Oh, you do.
Yeah. It's
Sorry.
not regular
Anyway.
burps.
Yeah. No, what was I fucking forget what I was talking about now?
Welcome back to the podcast. People don't like burps.
Sorry, yeah. No, it came
That's
to
alright,
me
don't
then.
worry. I'll be your thread.
I was listening to a couple of the last episodes through, and every time you burp, I don't care. I just think it's a bit funny. But every time I think, lost a view there.
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah.
we had any to begin with.
You know what? If you're turned off by a podcast by somebody belching, what's your motivation anyway? Like, I want to listen to something fun, informative. Oh, see, I heard a chair squeak. I'm out. Go fuck yourself. Who are you? Things I don't like in podcasts. Shit podcasts. When it comes to podcasts, though, I think ours is very smooth. It sounds a lot better than some of them. Some of them sound like they've been done for a fucking Nokia like 3310. You know?
A lot of them have, Scott.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are doing better than ours.
I know, it's weird. It always makes you feel like a talentless loser.
Yeah, it makes you think, well, it makes you think, people are watching this shit on VHS, and this VHS cassette's doing better than our fucking DVD right now.
Yeah,
How can that work?
nostalgia about tape.
Maybe that's what we're doing wrong. Maybe we should get out our phones. Maybe there's kind of like cassettes and tapes are coming back in. Maybe, ours sounds too professional for people. They find it intimidating.
What the fuck do they want? So they don't like burps, but it can't sound great. Like, what else?
Maybe they want your burps muffled out by the poor sound.
Yeah, poor quality burps are better than good quality burps. Well, yeah,
Well, anyway, we're back, by the way. So that's what I wanted to do
we're
here.
back a little bit.
Yeah, well, we've been back for a couple of episodes now. It's only been technically two podcasts, but
We just wanted to pretend that we didn't.
didn't what?
Stop doing it for a little while.
Well, they
Just thought that's the best way to do it.
What?
Just pretend like it didn't happen.
Or pretend for 9 months that we weren't podcasting.
Yeah, why not? No one will know.
No one noticed that
No
we
one
were gone.
noticed. As far as you're concerned, oh, we did loads, and then iTunes bloody deleted them.
Yeah, they were too hardcore.
We don't have backups. They're incredible. There was a couple that were nominated for an Ivor Novello award. It was insane. And now, oh, sorry, is that bodily function?
Yeah, you can't do
sorry.
that.
Poof, it's gone.
Adieu, adieu, adieu.
What about sound effects? Can you do body fluid sound effects? Are they just clever and cute?
Like what?
Yeah. Instead of me actually burping, it's like a comedy burp. Yeah, Bugs Bunny burp or something.
I don't know. I think adding sound effects into podcasts is a bit Looney Tunes, isn't it?
And what have you been doing for the past 10 podcasts? So sorry, I was in McDonald's. I'm not proud of it, but I was in the express line because I just wanted to get a double cheeseburger, and it was quite busy. So by the time I got up there, there'd been a fair few people served already. And before I could even get the words out of my mouth, the girl goes, "Oh, yeah, sorry, sir, but you're going to be the last one that I serve because I was supposed to go on break 15 minutes ago. So can you tell the people behind you?" Well, I looked around, and there's literally, like 3 families and a few teenagers and stuff. And I looked back at her and was, no. She's like, "Oh, why not?" Because I don't work here. And she just looked at me with this blank look on her face. "Oh, yeah, okay, sorry, what was it you wanted?" And it was a double cheeseburger. And I paid for it, and she was giving me the sip, and I just thought, I didn't mean to be rude, but I was like, "Sorry, did you think that, like, the family behind me were with me or something? Like, tell the rest of your party that there's no more McDonald's for you." And she's like, "No, it's just, I needed to go on break like 10-15 minutes ago. I'm exhausted, and it's just, I was like, "Oh."
Wait,
She literally expected me to turn around and go, "Excuse me, hey, I'm the last person to be served in the express line. Sorry.
fuck you,
Yeah.
suck it.
Sorry about that.
No
but
more burgers left at the inn, motherfuckers.
You're going to have to go up to the actual tills." Why would I... What? Just some random shithead?
You would think it would be McDonald's that they'd have, like when you go to the supermarket, they put a finger there to say,
Yeah, till closing.
this aisle was closing now.
Yeah.
Off you go.
But
But
no,
yeah,
she just
she could
didn't
get
wanna.
sacked for that, couldn't
I
she?
know, I would have thought so. If I'd have... I want to speak to your manager.
Yeah. We kick up a fuss, like, this bitch is trying to get me to fucking work here. Like.
I was too busy just stood there waiting, with my ticket in my hand, shaking my head, going like, did she really just ask me to do that? Like...
Yeah, could you just pop behind here and get your own fucking chips? Because I was meant to go on break a long time ago, and
Yeah. My
bit
feet
tough.
are hurting.
Yeah. Did you hear that one? That beautiful bit of audio of that woman calling up the ambulance to ask for a lift home.
Jesus.
My God, man, it was on BBC News in the top 10 news stories for about 5 minutes, and then it disappeared. But it was there, and I just listened to it, and while I was listening to it, I was like, I've got to fucking record. I've got to record this, because that video is so outrageous.
I love it. It's just like, no, if I can't leave this location, it's an emergency. I have an emergency.
This is a life-saving ambulance. Yeah, when you take me home, no, we'll take you to the hospital.
It's not really our problem. Just hang up. How am I going to get home now? My feet are sore.
You wonder how many of those stories they get every day. They must get a fucking...
I reckon they do get a lot, but it wouldn't be that way if it was the same as it is in America.
I
It costs
called the-
$3,500 for an ambulance to come
I
out.
called the police. The police said to ring you. I bet they did.
Yeah, we're going to tell you to ring the police again.
Yeah, ring the police and tell them where you are so they can come fucking arrest you for wasting everyone's time.
But $3,500 that cost you in America.
What, to get to the hospital?
To phone an ambulance to come and get you, to take you to the hospital.
Why don't you ring a taxi?
Well, you would think, but
I
sometimes
know if
it's
your
not that
organs.
easy.
I know if your organs are hanging out, you're gonna.
I'm
be
having a
like-
heart attack. Oh, I just walk down the stairs, but no, I know that because I've heard stories about guys, having too much weed, freaking out. I'm having a heart attack. And they phone the ambulance. The next morning, they wake up embarrassed and a lot poorer. That's a lot of money to just go ringing ambulances.
Yeah, but how much weed could you be smoking to actually have the energy to ring to be like, I'm really, really stoned. I know what will really, really make this buzz go on a bit better. A trip down the hospital.
I bet it's edible related.
Yeah.
Get it out of me. Get it out of me. I can't make it stop.
If
They're
it was
not going to do anything.
If I was having a heart attack and it was $3,500 to go to the hospital, I'd be like, you know what? I'm going to have my heart attack in peace.
Maybe I'll get 6 months off work. Yay.
There's these stories where I can't remember what I saw it on, but where people have heart attacks and for like weeks they're still going around, still like, you know, they're like they got chest pains, but they think it's a bit of heartburn or you know, a bit of trapped wind, and then they finally get round to going to the hospital and they're like, oh yeah, you had a heart attack about 2 weeks ago.
Really? Oh. I just stopped eating crisps. I thought it was crisps. Oh, man.
So I feel the full...
You're going to have to stop drinking beer, smoking cigarettes and eating red meat.
Or just not realising you're having a heart attack.
Well, that's not too bad then.
I don't I'd realise. I don't think it hurt.
Oh.
I thought it hurt like fucking hell. I thought...
I'm having a heart attack. Oh, isn't that clever of me to have figured out? Oh, I think I'm dying.
I think it's because people now are like, oh, you know, they go on Google and read their symptoms and they're like, I'm just going to be one of those morons, aren't I? You think I'm having a heart attack.
Or you got the other side there. It's like, oh my God, I've got bowel cancer. What are your symptoms? Have you got blood in your stool? No. Or have you got pains in your bowels? No. But I did a fart and it didn't smell right. So I've got bowel cancer. But that's what WebMD told me.
My arse is a bit itchy at the moment.
I think that means brainstem cancer, right? That's what I read. Yeah, I don't trust all that shit. You could diagnose yourself with anything. Are you irritable, lethargic, hungry? You've got AIDS.
You know, there's one thing of having a kid is that whenever anything goes wrong with a kid, you obviously type the symptoms into Google, you know, to see what's wrong. But you know,
I wouldn't advise it.
Typing symptoms into Google, it all depends whether you're mental or not anyway, because you know, one part of it will say probably isn't anything, and the other part will say if you're mad, it is something though.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. You could read into it as much as you want. Oh, did he cough? I think that's the start of meningitis. No, sometimes it's just a cough.
But people think that, you know, doctors somehow, you know, when doctors misdiagnose a person, it's like, oh my God, like, what the fuck? How did they manage to do that? Well, if you don't take blood tests and if you don't give them a scan, all they're
just
doing...
walked in the surgery.
Yeah, and someone looks at you and they're like, you don't look too sick, go home now. And then, you know, a couple of days later they die. And they're like, well, that doctor should have known that this person was going to die. Well, not everybody that walks into a fucking doctor's can get a fucking full scan.
Yeah. And some people just don't give it up to the doctor as well because they don't like the doctor.
Yeah, I think lots of people when they
I just got a bit of a stomach ache. My wife said I should come in. I didn't want to come in, but I just got a bit of a stomach ache. It's fine.
Yeah, do you ever get that? Like, you get to the doctor, you know, you think, you know, that something's seriously wrong with you. You know, I'm probably dying. And then you get to the doctors and you sit in the waiting room for 20 minutes and you think to yourself, right, for fuck's sake, I just want to go home now. So you get into the doctor, you're like, yeah, you know, this hurts. Come on, let's go. Yeah. Right, yeah, I'm fine now. I don't fucking, you know, sitting in a doctor's office is the best way to get better because you're like, oh, fucking hell. No, I better get out of here before I get any fucking sicker.
Yeah, sat there reading a leaflet about, we can't cure superbugs. Where are the most common places to pick them up? Leaflets in doctor's offices. Ah! Yeah, I'm one of those though. I'm the opposite.
You hate doctors, don't you?
I fucking hate. Well, yeah, hospitals, doctors. I'm not a fan.
The main thing I hate is that a lot of the room in hospitals, they don't have windows.
Well, yeah, or if they do, they're crusted over with 50 years of dirt.
Yeah, but no windows. It's just.
There's usually windows, but they're.
No, they got lots of rooms
because
they got lots of rooms within rooms and stuff like that. You know.
Oh, okay, yeah, right.
Yeah, so you go into a room and there's just a door and there's another door. Can't see who's coming in. Can't see who's going. It reminds me of The Shining, where they can't work out, you know, where the windows are in the building.
You know what the worst room in a hospital is? is the grief lounge.
It sounds like BA.
That's like they
British
have
Airways. You got first class, then we got grief lounge.
the grief lounge. In
What's
case
the grief lounge?
if you don't know, there's the family bit. That's where you all go and sit, like when someone's on a ward, and there's a kettle, you know, and a TV, and there's a few magazines.
Is this where
That's
things?
the family area.
Is this when things aren't looking peachy area?
Well, no, it's just like at the end of the ward where the family wait.
Oh, right.
So you know you can't really have
What are you
loads.
waiting for? Operations?
No, to
finish?
go and visit the person.
Oh, right.
You can't have people just walking about the ward, poking their head in like, "Are you my dad?" No, it's he's on ward 3. The doctor's with him now, so you can't see him. So just go down there, have a cup of tea,
Hang around.
hang around. But next to that is the grief lounge, where they don't let people go in. But when you see people getting taken in there, it's not good news. It's not good news.
Well, no. I'm assuming it doesn't
Step
say.
with me into the grief lounge.
I'm
please.
assuming it doesn't say on the door grief lounge.
No, that's just my name for it. And it's the most depressing room in the entire thing because it's one of those where they know what the room is. So there's a couch.
How many people are in there, or is it
Nobody.
just you?
It's
they just
like-
take you in there to do the grief lounge bit.
Yeah, to say, hey, it's not looking good. Or, you know, I reckon that's probably where they take you to say, oh, she passed in the night. Or that's the whole purpose of that little room. So there's a couch that's a little bit more comfortable than the other couches because, you know, it's an important place to sit.
And a
then-
big extra man-sized box of Kleenex.
Right in the middle of the table.
Yeah, but not for what you think for.
Flower. I think there's like kittens painted. Like,
Oh, is there like,
in
I
a
hate
picture.
Mondays sign? No.
not far off, you know, something like that, like soft focus portrait of 2 kittens playing with yarn. You
Yeah.
know, keep you nice and calm, nice and neutral colours on the wall, and that's it. That's all that's in the room.
And then they. So
that's
you're
where-
telling me that do they take you in there to tell you that, and then do they leave you in there for a little bit on your own
No.
to grieve, or do they just take you in there, sorry, and then they just take you out?
Sometimes they'll be like, you know, oh, if you need a couple of minutes, then just stay here. Like, don't worry about
I
it.
guess no. I need to go outside for a fag.
Use all
right?
the tissues you want. They're on us.
I'm taking this man-sized pack home for Layla.
Because staph infections are serious, we would ask that you sanitize your hands when you leave. Thank you. But yeah, that's probably the worst room in the hospital. That's not a good room. And then, yeah, they're like, just go sit in the other room. Now that you've been in the grief lounge. Yeah, that's not a good room.
No.
I'll tell you what's the most fucked up. Most hospitals now have a Costa built in.
Yeah.
And they're central London prices. Because why not charge people a little extra when they're at the hospital visiting sick loved ones? You going to complain?
Where else are they going to go?
Exactly, you're going to complain? But they need to be careful because one day someone will lose their shit and they'll go for them with a hard croissant. $3.50 for a latte. My dad's dying. Ah! Go Hulk on their ass. These are just thoughts.
Yeah, when I was in the, you know, I spent a bit of time in the having the baby area of the hospitals, and pretty much it's a happy place to be. But the one time that I saw this couple, you know, the woman was like having a breakdown in the Costa there, and you're like, should I bring my baby out and show her?
She'd probably freak out.
She would grab it and take it with her and do a runner.
Put it back in. I don't want it. Put it back in. I'm not ready. Put it back in.
Yeah, you wondered why she was having the breakdown. She was either really unhappy she was having one, or she'd lost it. Not like she just like dropped it and can find it like a phone.
Fresh out the grief lounge. They don't
Straight
do coffee in the grief lounge.
No, they don't. I bet
You got to
they
go downstairs.
They haven't got a coffee, a Costa Barista there.
Sorry for your loss. Flat white.
Latte?
Would you like chocolate sprinkles on that? Charlie loves chocolate sprinkles. Yeah.
We're gonna call him chocolate sprinkle.
The most depressing thing I think though is when you're outside having a fag, and then you see the other people. They're like literally they're hooked up to machines that are keeping them alive. It's not going to stop them. They're still down there.
And they keep on making the barrier further for where they can have a cigarette, so you can't have it in the grounds anymore.
Yeah.
But off they go.
They should just do it outside the morgue. It's like, well, you're heading that way anyway. If you drop dead outside, it won't be that hard to carry you in.
As part of the NHS, in order to save costs, they should just be handing out cigars on the way out. Here you go.
Care about your community? take money off the council tax bill. Bill. So I'm very cognizant of that now, and it's like, nah, I know what I want to do. Finally figured it out. Yay, only took you 30 years. Like, well, I need to get out and I need to do it. All that sitting around talking about it, thinking about it,
yeah,
doesn't make anything happen.
Well, I read about it once that, you know, when people attempt to do something like, I'm assuming you're talking about stand-up comedy,
yep,
is that people will get the initial burst and they'll do it for a little while and then they'll stop.
Well, yeah,
because at the beginning you get that buzz from it. Yeah. You're like, wow, I'm doing it, and then you do it. You know, it's like people that, you know, people take up cycling, so they'll buy a new bike. Oh, I got a new bike. Oh, wow, yeah, I'm a cyclist, and they'll start cycling, and then a couple of weeks later, they don't do it anymore. They join the gym. They go to the gym for a couple of weeks, then they don't do it anymore.
Bike sits in the cupboard. Problem is, though, you get the other side of that with these people at open mics as well. You get people that go there and think, well, someone's seen me.
Yeah, that should be it.
It's like, yeah, and it's like, no, it's an open mic. How many have you done? Oh, I've done like 4. You know, it's like, well done.
Come back when you've done 400.
Yeah, there's a certain, I don't know,
quick fix kind of mentality
smoothness that you get from experience.
Like the best, I reckon most of the best comedians are the comedians that they decided when they were 15, 16 that they were going to do it, and they started doing it then.
Yeah.
And they did it through all their fucking, you know, all their 20s they did it, And then when they get into their 30s and mid 30s, then they start coming through
Yeah.
and honing their art and honing their skills, and they'll make something for themselves.
But you see people that are there, and it's like the only reason I think you should want to be a stand-up a comedian is if you're a funny person. First, like if you're not funny, you got no fucking business trying to be funny in front of people. But you have people that see comedy. It's one of the reasons I dislike Simon Pegg, actually. They see it as a springboard to something else, so they treat it with that disrespect like straight away.
Simon Pegg never did stand up, did he?
Yeah, he did it as a way to get his face out there.
Have you ever seen anything or heard anything?
I've seen him. Yeah, someone recorded like a little bit of him doing stand up in the 90s somewhere.
Yeah.
Not riveting, but not terrible. Simon Pegg is a funny person.
Space is great.
Space is great. His films, I love his films and all that kind of stuff. But now he's doing Star Trek and he's writing for Star Trek, and he talks about stand-up comedy as if it was a diseased cousin that you only bring out at Christmas, and even then you just suffer. Like, oh yeah, you know, I did it, but it was never my love. It was never something I wanted to do for a long time. Why get into it?
Well, I think a lot of these comedians, like there's a lot of decent stand-up comedians, but because they saturate fucking television too much, that by the end you don't really like them anymore.
Yeah, you've heard their jokes.
Because they're on so many shows, and you see so much of them that you know their personality, and you feel like you know them too well. And they'll do a couple of shows that you won't like, and you'll be like, oh fucking hell, what the one guy is that Ramesh guy.
Mm-hmm.
I quite like him. I think he comes across as quite a nice guy, but because he's constantly on all these, he's on everything now. He's on fucking everything, and I just think to myself, I don't really want to go to his stand-up show because he probably won't talk about the fact that he's on, you know, Big Fat Quiz of the Year and Mock of the Week, and you know,
going to Sri Lanka for the one show.
Yeah,
stuff like that. I really just don't get. There's a point in my mind, Liam, where you're either a comedian or you're a funny TV person.
Yeah.
There's completely two different things.
You know, he'll probably end up doing fucking commercials, like. You know.
Yeah, you'll end up with a Friday night
I just think of David Mitchell. Yeah. It's like the guy's a really fucking talented, funny, clever guy. What the fuck's he got to show for his career except for Peep Show? What? See what I've done, and then wax on fucking the season of Would I Lie to You? Yeah. You know, it's a good show, and I enjoy watching it, but it doesn't make it.
Right for the Observer. Well, did you want to be a journalist?
Yeah.
You should have been a journalist.
And now he does adverts. His voice comes up on fucking every other advert. There's one for fucking orange juice, and I'm like, dude, I can't. You know, have you not seen that fucking
Bill Hicks
about fucking selling orange drink in fucking England? Like,
yeah.
Come on, like you know, make some fucking funny comedy because you're doing all this shit. It's sucking the life out of you, and you can't fucking do anything good.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
And you haven't done anything good.
And they don't treat it with the respect it deserves. That's the thing. They see stand-up comedy as.
Well, I think it makes it impossible to do stand-up comedy once you've done all that. I think, you know.
Yeah, what's your perspective? We know your perspective.
Yeah. We know your persona.
Yeah, because that's what you've been cramming down our necks.
Yeah.
So we.
Oh, you'll be very witty and intelligent and funny about some subjects, but.
Yeah, that self-deprecating. I know I went to a really posh school, but I'm just a neurotic mess. Like, yeah, it's. Where in this country are the stand-ups?
No one. Stuart Lee,
probably out there in the darkness of the well-known.
I don't really like Stuart Lee either, but no. I'd admit that he's doing his bit. But
I like the this is what I've come to realise. I really like the American model. I don't like over here how they do 45 minutes and then there's an intermission. And then you come back for the last hour of the show. I don't like all that. I want a strong, funny hour in my face, and that's it.
Yeah.
And then go away, and come back with another one.
Yeah.
I love that. You don't get that in Britain. Or if you do,
well, you can go to comedy clubs, but then you got to sit through a whole pile of shit.
Yeah.
Like a whole load of unfunny comedians to see someone that might be funny for about 20 minutes.
Yeah, and you're probably going to laugh more at the host who comes on after everyone.
Yeah.
They're usually the funniest people. because they have to keep everyone entertained for the duration of the show. It's just a distinct lack of that shit in this country, and I wonder, like, I think that might be where I could do well.
Well, I don't know, but then you got to think, well,
Be the
because
stand-up.
there isn't any of it, then maybe there's just no market for it over here.
I think there is. There's loads, man. Like Joe Rogan listeners and Stanhope fans. Stanhope makes more money over here than he does in the States, and he doesn't do it. He doesn't do that because he plays to a British ideal of what comedy should be.
Yeah.
Stanhope does Stanhope's thing over here and does really well.
He hates it over here, though.
Yeah, he does.
Which seems unusual to me. I can't understand what he hates so much.
What I've gathered is he doesn't like how little condiments we have on the table.
Oh yeah, all his
He
reasons
doesn't
seem
like the food.
superficial. I can't understand actually, if he does really hate it, or if he says that he hates it in order to be, because the English love that sort of thing. Oh, he hates it over here.
You know what? I'm not sure. I think he hates London more than anything else.
We are self-hating a lot, the English.
Oh yeah, very self-deprecating. I understand why he doesn't like London, and it makes sense though. I mean, this is a man that left LA to go live in the middle of nowhere because he was sick of traffic, people. London's not the place for you if those are the things that annoy you so much that you actually move away. So I can understand that. I remember when we went and saw him in Hammersmith, one of the things he was talking about was I was outside my hotel having a cigarette and it felt, all I heard was whoosh, turned around and saw a fucking wing mirror of a bus coming up my head, and I realised, I'm actually like off the pavement. Like, almost got killed. I understand how he doesn't like it, but he does fucking phenomenal, and that's what Stu does. He comes up with a new hour and a half every year. That's what he does.
Yeah,
I like that.
The English market for comedy is like pretty much died in the fucking water.
Don't say that.
There isn't even.
Got to do something.
Even comedy on television isn't the British comedy.
Yeah, comedy on telly's rubbish. It's chat shows.
It peaked at a certain point. You had fucking like In-Betweeners and Peep Show on, and there's a point where all the fucking comedy shows were fucking funny, a Brass Eye, and then since 2000, there have been, but they're just a generic show, chat shows. Get these people in, haha.
Tell us about your latest movie.
8 out of 10 cats does countdown. Why?
They're both done on the same set, and we don't really like taking a countdown one down because it's hard to put back together. I'm joking around,
A horrifying.
No, it's terrible, but I don't want to do that. I just want to be a comic. I just want to go off and tell shit jokes. They're the ones that make me laugh.
There's plenty of places, but are there actually that many places that instead of don't do open mics, they actually just do comedy? There's not that many comedy clubs, and if
Comedy
they are
clubs, there's loads in Central.
yeah, but they're all difficult to get into.
They're not all corporate. They're not all. There's quite a few. You'd be shocked if I showed you. I looked in Central, and then that little bit like Leicester Square and all, like there's like 60 comedy clubs.
Yeah,
and some of them are the big names, and some of them aren't. But there's a place in St Margaret's, of all places.
Oh yeah, I've been there.
Yeah, that place has been there for years.
It's
and
a
they got
pub. It's a small pub, but they've got a little bit attached to it, and they do comedy. What's his name?
Bill Bailey goes there.
No, the one that's one of the biggest ones. I like being beside the seaside. Come on, he's in the car.
Sherlock.
Peter Kay.
Peter Kay. Okay.
Peter Kay used to go there a lot.
Well, there you go. See, there are loads of places. You just need to get involved. I need to get my face in there, so people start ringing me up.
Ringing you up?
Yeah. Do you want to do a spot? Yes.
Yeah, they'll fucking invite you to do 8 out of 10 cats. Like.
I don't want to do that.
This is a perfect example of the sort of ugly sociopathy that has given rise to the sexodus, that has given rise to young men checking out of relationships, that has given rise to female unhappiness as they discover that more men are deciding that women just aren't worth the hassle. This kind of ugly, nasty, cruel generalization about men who have done nothing to deserve it is precisely, I'm answering your question, sir. You don't get to respond again.
Well, look, I didn't want to get too much into it because last podcast was all about women, so I don't want to go into too much. But I discovered Milo, and I just wanted to talk about this.
Oh, we can talk about Milo as long as you like, my friend.
It's not Milo, but it's kind of idea of like that there's a whole actual side of politics that actually I actually really agree with that. I never realised that I did.
The alt-right.
Yes, the alt-right.
Yes.
Like their views on feminism especially, but just also watching. So what's that guy in there? It's not Milo. It was the one who I was interviewing. He was interviewing the feminist, Gavin
Oh, McInnes.
McInnes.
Yeah.
Him. He reminds me a lot of you actually. In his view, it goes to a level in an extreme where I hate him. When it never goes that far with you, but
Yeah.
but he's. I've seen him interviewing people, and the way his humour, and he likes to offend and wind up and piss,
Yeah.
just piss people.
Who are we
off.
talking about now?
Gavin.
Right, yes. Gavin is he's called the father of hipsters. And if you look at him, you can kind of figure out why.
Yeah, but his viewpoints aren't hipsterish at all. He
Well,
would hate hipsters.
He invented hipster culture, basically. Him, and he's partly responsible for all of that. Because he was one of the co-creators of Vice.
Oh, was he?
Yes.
So was he more left back in the day then, or was he still
No,
always right?
no.
But
Always a
'cause-
bit right.
But Vice is quite left wing, I'd say, isn't it?
I don't know. I can't say that I've picked up a definitive.
Left or right? No,
Yeah.
I agree. It's more. It's quite neutral.
Maybe they're maybe on the drug side, I would say they're very left.
No.
Yeah, like just following around cartels and stuff.
Oh, yeah,
Nobody
they-
in the right's doing that.
No.
They're like, we don't entertain these savages. But yeah, he's.
It
There's
just
a thing
brings you
with
very.
him-
It just opened my eyes to this topic
This whole
completely.
thing, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
a bit
fascinating.
differently. And then watching the videos of Milo and talking to extreme feminists,
Mm-hmm.
and this idea that extreme feminism, I can't remember who said it, but that these are the people who are representing extreme left people are the people that are representing us as the majority now, and they're just lame.
Yeah,
They're just sad, lame, liberal,
wet wipes.
yeah, who actually want to stop freedom of speech because they don't want anyone getting hurt or offended on social media. But if you impose restrictions and stop people being able to say what they want to say, well then
It's
that's police
fascism.
state.
Yeah.
You can't fucking do that.
Mm-hmm.
Because then someone's going to post something that everyone needs to know about, and they'll be able to take it off because they'll say, "Well,
The
you're
worst
inciting anger."
and the worst part about that is whenever you bring it up, I'm going to use a big word now. I'm not going to get it right because I've built it up. Obfuscate.
Oh, it always upsets me when Milo talks, and I'm like, "You're so smart and clever. You can just
Yes.
fucking spill this shit off."
And you can tell it's just coming from anywhere he wants it to. He's not even blinking. It's just like
He's not even
bang.
thinking about
You
it.
know, are you kidding me? Are you fucking retarded?
Yeah.
It's just what? He's thinking about shit next week.
People say that he's not actually gay, that he pretends to be gay, because he says that by being gay, he's a minority and
Yeah,
he
and
can
he
say
can get away
whatever
with-
what he wants.
Which he can.
Yeah.
It's very clever, and it seems like something maybe he would do, but I'm not sure. I've never been in the room.
Like, it's difficult for feminists because he's a gay man. They can't say anything to him about objectifying women
Yeah,
because
he doesn't give a shit about you
he doesn't want to shag them.
in that way. Yeah, he's a fascinating character, and what I always say, and I say what I always say is because I've actually had to defend him as an individual
To
a
who?
few times now. Just a few people
A few people what you've mentioned
that have
it's been
heard
brought
him
up
and
Yeah.
have been like, he's this, he's that, and blah 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 blah. And it's like a lot of the time, I think people get offended by his very being, so they don't listen to what he says.
I actually think that people just because of the kind of anger he always brings up from whoever he's on the show with, they get so angry at him that it kind of creates a bile, and people are a bit repelled by that bile.
Yeah.
Of that, not of him,
Yeah.
but of the way the other person reacts to him.
Uh-huh.
They'd allow him to say what he wants to say, but they get so worked up and they start screeching, and it makes for uncomfortable viewing.
Yeah.
You're like, change the channel.
You don't like seeing a woman get so.
So when-
she's like, you.
And everyone's screaming at each other, so he never actually gets an opportunity to say his viewpoint and put out what he says.
It's difficult for him to get it all out.
Yeah, he says something, but because he knows he's only got a few seconds to talk, because he'll get cut off and screamed at, so he says something extreme, and then people are like, "Oh," everyone's groaning, and it's like, Well, let him explain why he just said that,
Yeah.
and he'll give you evidence. But because he's not allowed to talk, it all just becomes a bit too terrifying. And whenever, because my missus isn't into any of this, but whenever I put this shit on and she watches it, whenever it's anything taken off television, she hates it. But whenever I'm watching any interviews, him one-on-one with someone else, she likes it. He starts talking, but it's that kind of...
Yeah, the flashpoint of
It's the-
argument.
Yeah, it's the point where these two people butt heads.
Yeah.
So instead, some people should just take him on and let him just talk for a while.
The big questions.
Yeah.
That's the worst
Oh
TV
yeah, have you
show
watched
that's
that?
ever.
Did
I
you watch
tried.
Did you watch the 2 episodes? So there's an episode for the first time he goes on,
Yeah.
and on the second episode they bring them back, and you know,
That's my least favourite lady on it.
which
I
one, the
can't
black
remember.
one or the white one?
The skinny white
Oh, the
girl.
skinny anorexic one.
Can't remember her name. She was no platformed a little while ago by... I mean, her views on feminism are quite extreme as they are. So she pulls a lot of stink from a certain regard as well.
Yeah.
But my missus is exactly the same. If I put the big questions on, she bristles. I don't want this on. I think it hits ladies in their
The confrontational kind
yeah,
of
like
aspect.
someone might get punched,
Yeah.
like like Train Spotting, when Begbie throws a pint glass. Just that kind of thing. But yeah, let Milo talk. He says a lot of dumb stuff when you let him talk. Like he's gay, but he thinks that it's probably not the best thing in the world, and it's definitely against his religion, so he struggles with it. So what are you talking about? How can you be that articulate and that intelligent and be a Christian? That makes
Well,
no
he
sense.
doesn't.
to
He
me.
doesn't bring it up a lot.
No, he doesn't. But when he does, it's like, hang on a second, and you can see there's a little cheekiness in his eyes where he's like, "Yeah, I haven't been quite able to marry these ideas together yet." Like, talk to him about shit that he's completely batshit crazy about, like being a gay Christian who thinks it's probably not a good idea to be gay in this world.
Yeah, it doesn't make any fucking sense.
Like, it doesn't make any sense, and you got to look at him and go, hang on, alright, you spent a lot of time thinking about all this shit, Milo.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you need an isolation tank and a bit of ayahuasca or something and talk. Think about your self-hating gayness and all that stuff. Like, that's weird.
Staying night from me, I wonder what the fuck am I being told? Spent $1 million on a wedding, was some California disciple. Price to the temple medals and the life that you wish you passed by. And it really made me think this made any patriotic guy. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Well, I know lots of bummer and there's plenty of boots you kissed. But don't worship the pan, but they don't even know that you exist. So you love being shit on and you give them all you gotta give. Well, sucker, you